Hey guys, Dr. Justin Marchegiani here. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the top 5 reasons you have acid reflux and what you can do about it. So if you're experiencing gastritis feeling, you're feeling that regurgitation of that acid going up down the back of your throat, your vocal cords are sore, we're going to dive into why that is and some things that you can think about to get to the root cause. Before we do, please smash the like button, put your comments down below, make sure you hit the bell for notifications and more great content like this. All right, so first off, why do you have acid reflux? First reason is you have a bacteria called H. pylori. H. pylori is a helix-shaped bacteria. It literally corkscrews itself into the gut lining. H. pylori stands for helicobacter, so it's a helix shape, and it literally just corkscrews right into that gut lining. It can do a couple things. It can create inflammation. When there's acidity, it can burrow deeper and hide from it, right? So there's that school of thought. If you take more acid, it can actually burrow deeper. But H. pylori secretes an enzyme called urease. That enzyme takes the urea from protein metabolism, and it spits off CO2 and ammonia. So ammonia's got a pH of 11. So it takes that pH where it should be acidic in the stomach, around 2, 2.5, and it brings it up. Ammonia's 11, pH of the stomach should be around 2. So it's moving that pH up. So that's important because the stomach needs to be that nice low pH to activate a lot of your proteolytic enzymes like pepsinogen to pepsin. So it activates these enzymes. So if we have very low pH, or we have, if we don't have a low pH, we don't have a nice acidic pH, and that pH starts to become more alkaline, that's going to impact digestion. So that's reason number 1. H. pylori, because it corkscrews into that gut lining, it can create gut inflammation, and that can make the gut sensitive and raw. When the gut's sensitive and raw, when you start to make acid, now it can start to irritate that gut lining, and you can have pain and inflammation in that lining. That's number 2. So you have, first off, you're shutting down the acid levels, number 1. Number 2, you're creating inflammation through that burrowing in that gastric tissue, number 2. Number 3 is we need that nice low pH, that nice acidity to close that esophageal sphincter. That esophageal sphincter is pH sensitive as well. So if we do not close that sphincter, the acids from the food rotting can rise up and hit this sensitive tissue that's not protected. That sphincter closes off the tissue in the esophagus that now is more sensitive to acid. So if that esophagus stays open, now that tissue is being hit by other acids that it shouldn't typically be hitting. That's number 3. Also, if we're not breaking down foods adequately, let's say we just don't have enough stomach acid. Let's say we're stressed. Let's say we're activating our sympathetic nervous system. That's activating our fight or flight response, and that's impacting our ability to make acid, to make enzymes, to make bile salts. What may happen is the food sits there, doesn't quite digest properly. You have dyspepsia where the food just, it's not breaking down. You're having indigestion, you're having argita, and that food starts to rot. And organic acids and putrefaction happens and rancidification and fermentation happens, then those acids can rise up and also irritate the esophagus. It's very possible of that too. And so that's why people that have acid reflux, sometimes adding a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar a couple minutes before a meal, put it in some water, shoot it down. Sometimes that can make symptoms feel better because you just don't have enough acid to begin with. Now, when you have chronic inflammation, adding that acid in when there's a chronic gastritis going on will make it feel worse. And so if that is the case, then you know, hey, we don't want to add more acid to the equation because that may cause an ulcer if it's chronically inflamed. We don't know. So that nice acidity test with a teaspoon to a tablespoon of either apple cider vinegar, which is acetic acid, or some kind of a citric acid from lemon or lime juice is a good option out of the gates. Number 5 will be food allergens, gluten, dairy, processed grains, and flours. These are going to be a big thing that's going to really cause gut lining inflammation. These foods can create immune response. They can create gut permeability. Remember, you have a large percent of your immune cells, your lymphocytes, in the gastric intestinal area. So your stomach is that gastric area. That's called the GALT, the gastric associated lymphoid tissue. There's a lot of immune cells that hang out there. So the more we activate our immune system and create inflammation from food coming in, that may potentially drive more inflammation in that gastric tissue. So it's very important when you look at stomach inflammation, you have to calm down the immune system. Now, what can also help this is probiotics, especially probiotics like Bifidobacter and Lactobacillus species can be very helpful when at calming down the inflammation, and that can relax the immune system. But you have to look at everything holistically. If you have H. pylori, you have to get that down. If your gut lining is super raw, we have to add in nutrients to calm down the gut lining. So in my practice, we use a product called GI Restore, which has a lot of the common, the best practices type of nutrients for that gut lining, whether it's collagen amino acid peptides, whether it's L-glutamine, whether it's DGL licorice, whether it's aloe, slippery elm, okra, vitamin U. These are compounds that are very helpful at soothing that gut lining. We're adding in some acid or enzymes. If we pass that apple cider vinegar or lemon or lime juice test, we may add in a little bit of HCl. If we don't pass that, then we're just going to be focusing on enzymes. We're just going to be focusing on some bitters like ginger and some manuka honey to stimulate digestive juices. It's also very helpful for motility, and manuka honey is very soothing on the gut lining. So is ginger as well. And so when we look at things holistically, we want to be on top of 1, H. pylori, 2, supporting and healing the gut lining, 3, making sure we have enough enzymes and acids, 4, making sure we're avoiding any gut lining irritating antibiotics, right? These are important. And then 5, really focusing on probiotics typically after, really making sure that's supported and making sure that we support our nervous system so we're not in that sympathetic fight or flight state, which is going to impede digestive enzymes. It's going to take your hydrochloric acid levels and make them go lower, which thus increases the pH, right? Low levels of acid mean high pH. Your stomach should be healthy at a low level of pH. That's a good acidic level. Hope that helps, guys. If you enjoy that and you want to dive in deeper, there'll be comments down below where you can link in. Love to see what you have to say. And there'll be links down below as well if you want to reach out and dive into my staff and team. We're happy to help you out in the functional medicine side if you want more support on getting to the root cause of why you have acid reflux and gut lining inflammation issues. All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Take care.